Namaskar, I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session. This is our online training program under the umbrella theme of safety in cyberspace. This online training program is brought to you by Central Institute of Educational Technology, that is CIT NCERT, New Delhi. Today we are in day 5 of the training session and we will be talking about legal aspect of cyber safety. You are watching us live on PME Vidya channels 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. You can also participate in the training session with your questions, suggestions and feedback. Today is the last day of the training session and there is going to be an assessment, the details of which will be shared with you after the end of this training session. Now, if you want to reach out to us with your questions, if you want to have a word with our expert regarding the topic, please take down the details. Phone number is 8800440559. We also have a dedicated email ID for you, that is training.helpdesk@cit.nic.in. And you can also send us your comments and suggestions on our live chat box or in the comment section of our YouTube handle NCERT Official. Now, to have more clarity and more updated knowledge about the legal aspect of cyber safety, we are joined by our experts. So let's welcome her. We have with us Ms. Mohini Arora. Ma'am, namaskar and very warm welcome to you.
बहुत शुक्रिया.
Let me tell everybody that ma'am is Vice Principal from Air Force Golden Jubilee Institute, Subroto Park, New Delhi. And with ma'am, we're going to take this session forward. Ma'am, before you delve deep into the topic, I request you to kindly share with us what exactly are the main points that you will be covering today.
Thank you, Harpreet. We'll be covering today basically legal aspects of cyber safety. We all know that today we are living in cyber world.
Yes.
So we will have to understand that to use technology aptly, we have to understand the nuances of security as well. In the previous session, we have been looking into psychological aspects, technical aspects. Today, after a brief overview about various cyber crimes that are prevalent, we will be talking about how Indian government has taken various measures in terms of forming committees, in terms of framing IT acts that can help the citizens of India to protect themselves from cybercrime and also to take legal actions if God forbid they become victims of cybercrime.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing the overview. Now, I request you to kindly go ahead with the presentation.
Okay, thank you. So, as I discussed before, we will be covering with the legal aspects of cyber safety. But before that, I would like to share some quick facts about cybercrime that are prevalent today. As of now, roughly 5 billion people around the world use internet, around 60% of the world's total population. That is the extent of usage of internet these days. This number definitely is growing. Day by day we see that more and more people are using mobile devices, are using internet, and we have 319 million new users coming online every year, almost every year. And these, the growth at which it is happening, around 8% of growth that is happening, it is alarming. It is really alarming. That is why each and every country, each and every government is taking steps to take measures on to keep their citizens safe and secure in the cyber world. Most internet users, it is observed that they use mobile devices, most of them, I'll say it's close to 90%, most of it may be through any social media app, for calling, for messaging, for e-commerce, anything. Most of the people are using internet through mobile devices, but yes, computers also account for an important share of internet usage. And why do we say that data is gold today? Why do we say that data is at risk today? Because every small little thing today is available at the tip of our fingers. It may be net banking, it may be searching for information. Even a small child of say 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, you ask that child anything, that child doesn't know, he'll quickly jump on to Google, quickly jump on to ChatGPT to give you the answer. Right? We are doing a lot of shopping these days online. We are watching online content available on various OTT platforms, through social media apps such as Facebook, Insta, WhatsApp, through learning as well. We are also right now connected through internet only. So that remote learning part is also going on because of internet. And post COVID-19, there is an increase in every aspect of internet usage. We all know it very well. So what does this is leading to us? It is leading to digital footprint. Our digital footprint is available to everybody across the internet. So if we are wise enough to understand how to leave our footprint, how to leave our prints on the net so that we are not made victims of cybercrime, we have to be very, very careful. Just I'll show you certain facts that everybody, each one of us must have seen in newspapers. Various types of cybercrimes are being reported, just to appraise you of what is happening around us and why we need to be careful about the calls that are coming from unknown numbers, the messages that are coming, the links which are coming. So if by any chance you fall victim, then how does law protect you? How does legally you are safe and secure? That is what we will be majorly discussing today. And just a small intro about various types of cybercrimes. If anybody tries to steal your personal information and use it for his or her own personal gains, maybe for financial gains, maybe for social gains, then that is identity theft. Anybody who tries to stalk you or abuse you or harass you online, cyberbullying, cyber stalking is happening. The fraud emails, messages, voice calls stating that you have won a lottery or you have won a prize or your account may be blocked, send the OTP, such type of things happens. It's phishing, wishing, smishing. So e-commerce frauds, your credit card details, your bank details, you are shopping online, you give the details, those details are stolen or used for any other purposes, and your account has debit of certain amount that you have not actually done. That is what is e-commerce frauds. And as far as children are concerned, any type of sexual content relating to a child is definitely a legal penal offense. So that also comes under the ambit of cyber crimes. If any child is with or without his or her consent made to give sexual favors or made to perform pornography online, all this is also coming under the ambit of cyber security. So these all cyber crimes we are trying to appraise all the learners here that we should be aware about these crimes, and we should keep our eyes and ears open around us. Sharing is one of the bestest means to appraise us and to protect us. If we come to know about certain crime being conducted online, we should immediately, we'll be covering all these things definitely in the later part of the session. But yes, what I want to know, I want to appraise you is what is happening in the world around us. Once you know that yes, this particular act that has been committed is a cyber crime, then only you can approach the nearest police station or the cyber help cell or the cyber crime cell that has been set up by the government. Only then you can approach and ask for the remittance, for the compensation. So one must be aware of any action that is done online which makes anybody uncomfortable or which cheats anybody or which deprives of personal rights of anybody. All these are coming under the ambit of cybercrime. Now our ecosystem, if I talk about school, a regular school, we have parents, we have education system, we have tech and gaming companies, we have children definitely, and law enforcement and judicial system is also one of the very important components of any ecosystem. So we will be covering today this very component, law enforcement and judicial system. So if I talk about my country, cybersecurity and safety framework in India, I have just divided this particular framework into 4 major sections. As you can see on screen, you have cyber laws, you have key provisions, you have enforcement mechanisms, and you have impact on cybersecurity. So, if I talk about cyber laws, we have Information Technology Act 2000. I will be covering this in detail definitely. We have Digital Personal Data Protection Act, and we have certain other relevant regulations, 1 or 2 I will definitely be covering in this session. So, all these provisions, legal provisions, they have laid down, defined explicitly various types of crimes, the extent of the crimes, what is the penalty if the crime is happening. It may be in the form of a fine, it may be in the form of imprisonment, or it may be both. So, what is the penalty that is done, what are the evidences, what are the repercussions, or what are the compensation that a person might get, in what period the reporting should be done, all these things are laid down in these legal provisions, that is IT Act. Majorly we will be discussing about IT Act and the DPDP Act, that is the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. Now, if I talk about key provisions that these legal acts cover, definitely data privacy regulations are the first most. We all know that when we work online, we collect data. We deliberately, when we fill an online form or we download an app, install an app, then also we are giving our many times location, otherwise the OTP comes on our phone or we authenticate through the mail. So, our mail ID, our phone number, our location, everything is going. So, we are voluntarily giving data in this case. When we are giving data to that app provider or to the company, it may be simple Gmail, everybody has an email account. So, it may be a simple email account. To open an email account also, we are filling up a form, we are giving our personal information. For registration to an online e-commerce portal, we are doing online shopping, it may be through various platforms. Any of the platforms we are registering, we are giving our personal information. Any personal information that we give in trust to these platforms, this personal information is private. It cannot be shared without my consent, that is one thing. And second, if they are taking my personal information, the purpose of taking that information should be very, very clear. That has to be made clear to me before taking the information. So, data privacy regulations are very, very strictly laid down in these acts. Then we have definitions of various cyber crimes. That is the reason in the previous slide I just appraised of the major cyber crimes that are prevalent these days, so that when you know that you have been a victim of a crime, only then you can approach the cyber crime cell or the police. So, all these acts, they define explicitly various definitions in detail of the cyber crime. For example, if bullying is happening online, or if stalking is happening online, or if there is a fraudulent email in which there was a link and you have clicked that link, then your account was debited. So, all these procedures in which the act was committed, these definitions are given in these acts. Then definitely punishment and penalties, depending on the scalability of the crime that is committed. The punishment and penalties have been defined in these acts, IT Act and DPDP Act, both acts. Then third column says about enforcement mechanisms. Yes, the legal acts have been laid down. Yes, the provisions have been made. Everything has been put in pen and paper, but there has to be enforcement mechanisms in the government setup, so that any person who has been victimized, that person can be approached. So, for that we have cyber cells and police stations. We have National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal. I will cover up this in detail, all these things in detail definitely. and we have legal procedures and courts. We have specific appellate courts set up for settling down cyber crimes. There are cyber police station, and that it has been very clearly laid down that any kind of cyber criminal act, if reported or FIR wants to be lodged, it is not dependent on any jurisdiction. Any person can complain online or offline in any of the police stations if he or she has been the victim of cyber crime. So, these are the various enforcement mechanisms that have been laid down by the Government of India. Then what is the impact? Why is the government, or why are we trying to sensitize each and every person, any age group, any economic or social background? Each and every person is being sensitized. Even nowadays, when we call any person, first the message comes sensitizing the person on that you should not pick up a call, or you should not respond to any unwanted messages. That is the level of sensitization that is going on. So, that is why that is happening, because we want to safeguard our digital assets. Everything, right from our educational certificates to our bank accounts, to our investments, to our travel plans, to our medical schemes, insurance policies, everything is an asset for us, and everything is now available through online mode. So, each of our data that we are posting online, we are filling the forms, we are applying for a scheme, we are opening a bank account, it is an asset for us. Each and every asset has to be safeguarded. That is why all these enforcement mechanisms are being put up. Then next impact is to promote data privacy. As I told you before, that we are sensitizing people at a very large scale. We want people to understand that these days for data is gold. Anybody who wants data, that person should know that why the data is being collected. As a user, you should know that why your data is being collected. Your data is private. You should not divulge your personal information. It may be personal, it may be financial. You should not divulge that information to any person without being 100% sure that that person is trustworthy, and why you are divulging that particular information. So, that is another impact that all these framework, this safety framework is having to promote data privacy. And third is to enhance cyber defense capabilities. The more we divulge ourselves, the more we dive into the cyber world, the more prone we are to cyber crimes. So, the more cyber defense mechanisms have to be set up. Daily we listen of new types of frauds coming up, of new types of malware attacks coming up. So, we have to enhance our cyber defense capabilities on daily basis. We cannot say that okay, today we have installed a particular tool, it will protect my system and I never need to update it. No, I need to update these tools. I might need to install new tools. I might need to install new methods. When initially net banking started, then we just used to give user ID password and on the user ID and password. Then slowly two-factor authentication started. Now the OTP comes on our phone also for any login to a banking account. And if you want to transact, then another OTP comes. So, we are increasing our levels of security. So, those levels of security are definitely enhancing our cyber defense capabilities. So, whenever we have such type of framework, all these aspects, they work in tandem. Legal provisions are laid so that everybody knows about them, so that all the nuances of cybercrime are taken into care. To enforce those legal provisions, we set up various systems. and so that people are aware, the administration is aware, and on daily basis we can enhance more and more our capabilities to defend ourselves. So, this is the framework that is followed, broadly is followed, so that we are safe digital citizens of India. Moving ahead, I will just talk about certain government initiatives. First one is Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, commonly known as CERT-in, an initiative by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Since 2004, it has been operational, and it is the national nodal agency for responding to computer security incidents as and when they occur. It is responsible for collection, dissemination of and analysis of any of the cyber incidents, any virus attack or any cyber crime that is prevalent, that is spreading, to alert the people about them, emergency measures and responsive activities that have to be taken in case a fraud is happening at a large scale, and issue guidelines, advisories, procedures, preventions, response, etc. to the people when these incidents occur or there is an apprehension of them to occur, right. Then second very good initiative by government is about National Cyber Security Policy. It is to create a secure cyber ecosystem in the country, and more or less the framework that I discussed is part of National Cyber Security Policy to generate the trust in the IT system, in the e-governance system, in the all sectors of economy on IT, so that more and more people can go to digital initiatives of day-to-day work, right. So, that is what is another initiative. Then we have Cyber Swachhata Kendra. These are basically botnet and malware cleaning center. Botnet is also a very prevalent tool these days. Whenever you call any call center, there is an automated machine that comes up which answers your queries based on the options that you choose. But these botnets are also malware disseminators. So, we have to detect, we have to on regular basis keep on cleaning them, keep on checking whether any malware is being disseminated with them. And it is also operated by CERT-in under the provision of section 70B of IT Act. It has been set up in accordance with National Cyber Security Policy Framework only, and it basically provides information and tools to secure the devices. If you go to the link of Cyber Swachhata Kendra, you will find various tools that you can download to secure your devices for free. It is a very good initiative. And then we have NCIIPC, National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center. Now, this particular initiative deals only with critical infrastructure. Now, what is critical infrastructure? Any infrastructure that affects the people on a large scale, in mass, banks, home affairs, medical and insurance schemes, these are critical infrastructures. So, any cyber crime or any cyber activity, any malware that the government sees or that gets a hint that yes, it is being affected by a prevalent cyber crime, say suppose a bank site is freezed, none of the customers are able to enter, or an e-governance site is hacked, then all these are taken care of NCIIPC. There are other various, I will not go into details of other, but yes, various other small scale initiatives are being taken, people are being sensitized, their skills are being developed to sensitize them against cyber security. Depending on various sectors, the specific regulations are given, various awareness initiatives even in schools nowadays. The Delhi police conducts various initiatives to sensitize children of various age groups. They conduct workshops, they conduct certain small quizzes, so that more and more children get aware about what is happening around them at a very young age, and many times children really sensitize their elders also, that no, today we learned this in our school, this is what our teacher was saying, this is what we learnt in the workshop, so you should be careful, this actually happens. So this learning begins at a very young age, which is very, very good initiative taken by us. Now a little bit detail about the IT Act. This is the primary legislation that governs various cyber activities and offences in India. All the offences, the list says very few, but any offence, hacking, data theft, identity theft, cyber terrorism, bullying, any type of crime that happens using a digital device and internet is a cyber crime. It may be any act. So any such act is covered, any such crime is covered by Information Technology Act 2000, although it has undergone various amendments after that, but since the act was laid down in 2000, so we call it as IT Act 2000, and also provides, very, very important, it provides legal recognition for all electronic documents, for all digital signatures. Any type of e-governance site that is working, it may be passport application, it may be your license renewal, anything, your examination certificates, your university certificate, board certificate, your digital locker, all these have validity because of your IT Act. They are all valid documents. They may not be physically available to you, but yes, even in a bank, if you go to the bank and do a fixed deposit, you get an FDR, a paper. But if you do it online, that is also equally valid. You may not get a paper proof for it, but that is a valid document. That FDR is also a valid document. So all the electronic documents got legal recognition because of this IT Act. So just discussing some salient features, as I discussed, it gives legal recognition to electronic records, any type of e-contracts, any type of digital signatures. There is a procedure definitely to authenticate such contracts, to authenticate such digital signatures. Once they are authenticated, then they are valid. It's not that any person who is online, that person can just post a signature and it is valid. No, it has to be authenticated by appropriate authority, only then it becomes valid. And it also contains provisions related to protection and preservation of electronic records and data. Any data that is collected, it has to be secured, it has to be kept safe from any kind of theft, from any kind of malpractices. That is also responsibility of the organization or the institute that is collecting the data. It defines various cyber crimes. As I mentioned before, explicitly each and every cyber crime has been defined in IT Act, and including with penalties and all types of, it may be virus dissemination, it may be hacking, it may be data theft, it may be identity theft, anything has been defined. It authorizes the establishment of appellant tribunal, which is a specialized body to enforce the act. If God forbid anybody becomes the victim, then that person can approach this tribunal and seek the compensation or seek can impose for the penalty for the person who has committed the crime. Some other features, it promotes e-governance. Definitely all the government departments can issue documents, can issue licenses electronically, has made it mandatory for companies to obtain consent from consumers when it comes to collecting or using their personal information. Very, very important. This is one thing which each and every internet user should know, that while filling any online form, the purpose of filling that form should be very, very clearly stated. If the purpose is not stated, you should never fill up that form. So it is mandatory for any person collecting any type of data, it is mandatory to tell the consumer, tell the client that why is that data being collected. If it is not telling, the organization is not informing, then definitely it is not trustworthy. Please refrain from giving any information to such type of organization. Individuals have the right to seek compensation in case of damage. These compensations are defined in the IT Act, how much compensation can be given in which type of crime, and can criminalize cybercrime, hacking, spreading of computer viruses. So, all these are salient features of IT Act. Some important sections I would like to cover, just a quick look. I have covered some commonly, when you look around, you see some common crimes happening. So, one is unauthorized access or damage to the computer system. Somebody has logged into your system or network and tries to steal information. Section 43 covers that. Somebody hacks on to your system, even hacking to your Wi-Fi router to gain access is a crime. So, if your neighbor tries to hack your Wi-Fi router just to use your internet connection, it is a cyber crime. You can definitely lodge a complaint for that. Fraud or identity theft, your personal information is being used to create a fake social media account, or your personal information is, or your identity is being used to get a particular contract or to gain some personal information. That is also a cyber crime covered under section 66B, C and D. Then violation of privacy by transmitting private images. You clicked pictures with your friends, and your friends try to share it on public media without your consent. You clicked pictures with his or her phone that were meant to be for your private purposes only, but your friend posts on the social media without taking consent from you. That is also a cyber crime under section 66E. Then cyber terrorism, threatening or forwarding messages which may cause a large scale scare. People may get terrorized, the information might be fake, is fake in most of the cases. So, that is also a cyber crime, an offence under cyber crime covered under section 66F. And publication of obscene content online. That is also a cyber crime covered under section 67, especially with children. With children, the provisions are very, very strict. Any child that is used for any kind of creation or forwarding or sharing of any obscene content, it is a very, very severe offence under the IT Act. So, these are some common sections, some common crimes that we have seen, and which you must have heard or seen happening around you. So, you should be aware that these small actions which you might feel that they are trivial. It's okay if somebody has hacked my Wi-Fi router, you will change the password, but if it is happening repeatedly, you should just talk to the person, and if that person is not listening, you must tell that this is a crime, you are not supposed to do it. Bullying anybody online, posting obscene comments online is a cyber crime. So, being aware will help you to get to protect yourself and to get the compensation if you become the victim of cyber crime. One of the sections that I have covered in a little bit detail is section 43, which is imposed if any person takes charge of the computer system without the permission, accesses information, steals information through a pen drive, through mailing oneself or through any other means, downloads it, copies without proper authorization, introduces virus or any malicious software in the system, causes damage to the computer network or database. All these actions are covered in section 43. So, even prevention, I am a user of my system, my network, and I am not allowed to log into my network, I am not allowed to work on my network, work on my system, even that is a cyber crime. Why? Because my system has been stoned, my system has been hacked, so I am not able to log in. Right. So, this is one example in which I have covered a little bit detailed provisions, and next section that I have covered is section 66B, and it is basically stealing the resources. any type of resources, if I am stealing from a device, then yes, I am liable for punishment. And there is something called Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule. Any website, any online service that is collecting personal information of children below the age of 13 years must obtain parental consent before doing so. Nowadays what happens, like it has been seen that various schools, they conduct workshops, and the people who come to take the workshops, they ask the children to fill up forms. In those forms they ask their names, their father's name, contact number of the parents, address and so on. So every school must know that any child below 13 years, they cannot fill up the form without parental consent. It is very clearly laid down in Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule, right? Then we have the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, or the DPDP Act. As I was mentioning, that any personal data that is being collected, the consumer should know that why the data is being collected, and data that is being collected, it should be used for lawful purposes only, not for illegal purposes or unlawful purposes. And there should be a proper agreement that should be signed between the organization and individual. That is why you must have noticed that any app that you install, there is a long text and there is a small text box saying I agree to it. Once you say I agree, once you click that particular check box, only then you can install that particular app. That is the agreement between you and that particular service provider, that you are giving that particular information knowingly and willingly. And any data that is being collected, that duration for which it was collected is expired. Say there was a scheme that was coming up under which you had to fill up the forms and you get some grant. Now that scheme deadline is over. Once that deadline is over, that data should be deleted. It should not be kept. It has to be deleted irrecoverably. And any data breach, if has happened, the consumers have all the right, every citizen who is part of that data has all the right to know that the breach has happened. So every individual should be notified. Very, very important provisions of DPDP Act that help all the people who are submitting their data online. So that is what the DP. So some small tips that I always tell my students, my learners, that whenever you are working online, these tips you should never forget. Some tips are definitely for protection, others are ethical, like for example, be respectful, use strong passwords, don't click on any links, any suspicious email, don't click on any pop-ups, any free ads, nothing is free in this world. So don't click thinking that it is free. Always use original and updated softwares, browse secure websites, backup your data. Always opt for two-factor authentication. Nowadays it is a must for banking institution. One way to enter your bank account is your password. Next step is the OTP. So this is what is a two-factor authentication. So please follow that. Use parental controls. Do not perform any financial transactions on public networks, not on railway stations, not on airports, nothing. Don't perform any financial transaction. Never share your OTP, check your privacy settings, and never make friends with strangers online. Very, very small, easy tips, but yes, they should be covered. And specifically for schools, I'll say that if you hear of any cyber crime happening with child, then first and foremost, take the child into confidence, ask what happens. The principal should form a committee, inform the parents, refer the child to the school counselor, because the child may be traumatized, he may need that warmth, the support that yes, it has happened, it's okay, we are there with you. And all the evidence needs to be collected. It may be from social media, it may be from friends, it may be from any means, and then you may approach the cyber police if required, or you may contact any cyber law experts. A very, very humble request from schools: don't take the incidents of cyber crimes, especially cyber bullying, lightly. and let us make our children sensitize our children against cyber safety, so that they become good cyber citizens of our country. So these are certain preventive steps that the schools can take that we have mentioned. Just a quick look at the reporting mechanisms. To file a report, 1930 is the number that every child should learn, every student should know, every individual should know, any profession, any age group, they should know this number. I was talking to you the mechanisms, how the law enforcement agencies are working. So this is one step that you have to report, and you can report on this helpline number, or you can report on National Cyber Crime Reporting Portal. You may report anonymously, you may report with names also. Both the options are given. For a child, giving the name is not compulsory, but reporting is a must. If you don't report, nobody comes to know what has happened, and the preventive measures or the proactive measures cannot be taken. So these are the reporting mechanisms, and I'll end my presentation with these mantras: precaution, prevention, protection, reporting and sharing. All of these 3 PRs are very, very important to be a safe digital citizen.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful presentation, and you have highlighted all the important points, that how it is extremely important to stay aware and updated, and also to know about the legal aspects, whether we are becoming a victim of something that is happening online, or if we are doing something wrong, so some action can be taken against us. Now, ma'am, in a way, what I have gathered from all the 5 sessions is that internet is no less than a double-edged sword, because we want to use it as a tool. There's so much of information, useful information that we get from there, but there's also exposure to harmful content. So as parents and teachers, what do you think is the way out, how to actually protect our children from the hazards of using internet, and at the same time directing them the right way?
Yeah, you know, I always tell my students, or I always tell my learners, that you cannot avoid technology these days. We live in technology. My child is born with a mobile phone in his or her hands. So the best we can do is use technology safely, and this education starts from day one. That is why today schools are major epicenters of cyber awareness. That is why schools are encouraged to have cyber security sessions, to form cyber clubs, so that various activities that happen in those clubs, they make the children aware. If the child is aware, I have seen hundreds of episodes where the child goes home and tells ki today we did this, Papa, have you received any link, have you seen any, we tell the students, you know, go and ask Papa, have they received any message, see what was written in that message, write it in your notebook and come back tomorrow. So this creates awareness. So the only way in which we can tackle this is by making them aware, by sensitizing them. Again I will say, we cannot avoid technology. It is a double-edged sword, definitely, but we have to learn to walk on that sword. We have to make our children learn to pass through it.
Right. And ma'am, this is what is happening, that we are distributing our phone numbers and email IDs just like that. Even if you want to enter some organization, they ask for your Aadhaar number at times.
Yes.
You know, especially government institutions. You have to submit that at the reception. Now, my point is, we don't know where this data is going to be used. Data is asset, and data privacy is extremely important. So what are the legal provisions that if this data is used in some bad manner, whom we can approach and how can we come to know about it, and whether we should be giving or distributing our information like this?
Ma'am, see, at many points now you will have to do that.
Okay.
That is why whenever you give your Aadhaar authentication, then an OTP comes on your registered mail.
Yes.
And your phone numbers.
True.
That is the defense mechanism that is being given by the government to us.
Okay.
So if we don't follow that, then definitely we will land up in trouble. For example, you get a mail or you get a message on your phone that your Aadhaar number was used to log into so and so thing, and you have not done that. You cannot ignore that message, or you cannot ignore that mail.
Yes, ma'am.
Immediately you should report either to 1930 or report to the cyber police station that is near you, or you can go online on cyber portal and you can register the complaint. The moment you report, they will ask for the evidence definitely. कहाँ से number आया है, from which phone number you have received the mail or the message. They will immediately keep that number on scanning, and then they will try to locate that particular number and see for what purposes your Aadhaar was done.
Right.
So you have to be vigilant while giving your information. As I told before, you have to give information now. Even a small app, if you install on your phone, you cannot install without giving your phone number or without giving your password for that particular device. It is not possible. But yes, you have to be careful about what is happening around you, what messages you are getting on your registered mail and your registered phone number. Very, very important.
Right. And ma'am, because everybody is so concerned about students and children, they are so sensitive to all these threats. I remember long back an incident happened in one of the schools of Delhi where some images or videos got viral.
Yes.
And it was like an MMS that got
Yes.
leaked, and
Yes.
of course that shattered the future of those kids involved in
Yes,
that.
definitely. That child whose MMS was leaked,
Yeah.
she went through so much of trauma. Definitely, it is a trauma. Even a small image, if in fun a
Yeah.
child makes a cartoon on the notebook of another child, there's a fight between two children. That is just a very minor thing. So this MMS was made public. Everybody could view it.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a cyber crime, and that is why those children who did it, they were apprehended, they were reprimanded, they were definitely punished. If you go to the entire case history, you will get that information, that how the evidences were collected and how the children who were involved in this were punished.
Right.
So that is why we always sensitize children more. There's a difference between a joke and a bully. Every joke cannot be a
Yes.
bully, and vice versa. No, it may be a joke for you, it may be a bully for somebody else. So
Yeah.
you should understand that difference, and very important to make the students understand that difference.
And ma'am, morally, ethically also, since everybody is carrying a mobile phone these days, they're making clicking pictures, making videos, or whatever is happening, whether somebody is met with an accident or somebody is caught up in some embarrassing situation. So ma'am, your last message to all the students and parents, that how they can make sure, in fact the teachers also, that such things do not happen.
I'll just say one thing: mobile is a device, internet is a technology to help you. Don't reverse the role. Don't make yourself victim of that technology, and that can only happen if you take precautionary measures. You are preventing yourself from being the victim by following the safety measures. You report if anything has happened, and you share whatever is happened around you with other people so that they are also sensitized.
Right. So that was our very important and fruitful discussion on day 5 of the training session on legal aspects of cyber safety under the umbrella theme of safety in cyberspace. And I must thank my expert for her valuable contribution, time and information for the session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we are winding up the session over here, but before I do that, as I promised, it's time to tell you about the ways to register yourself and take the assessment. So let's go to the website directly. This is cit.ncert.gov.in. That's the website you need to go. And this is our home page. Go to the activities section, click on workshop and training option. Here you will find the current activity that is going on. This is Safety in Cyberspace, our online training program. Click on the same and you will get a complete write-up on why we are conducting this training program, along with the day-wise schedule and the topics that we have taken up. Who all can participate? This training session is open to all. These are the objectives of the training session, and here is the complete program schedule along with the topics of the session, resource persons who came in and shared the valuable insights, along with the videos that have been uploaded. So you can watch all these sessions again just to increase your knowledge or gain the important insights. And if you wish to participate, these are the steps that you need to follow. Step 1 is to register yourself. Click on the link or scan the QR code. Step 2, I'm sure you have been watching all the sessions regularly. You have watched them on all these streaming platforms of ours. Step 3 is to take the assessment test. If you score more than 70% in the final assessment, you will get yourself a certificate that you can download from Diksha portal, and please go through the guidelines before you take the assessment. And lastly, you can submit your feedback by clicking the link or scanning the QR code. For any other queries, we keep on sharing our email ID with you, and this is the phone number. We wish you all the luck for the assessment. With this, I'm wrapping up the session over here, and time now to share another update regarding the ongoing competition called Balpan Ki Kavita. Let's take a look.
क्या आपको भी गीत, कविता पढ़ने, लिखने और गाने गुनगुनाने में रुचि है? तो आइए शिक्षा मंत्रालय भारत सरकार की एक अनूठी और सराहनीय पहल का हिस्सा बने तथा भारतीय भाषाओं और अंग्रेजी में लोकगीत और कविताएं भेजें। आप दिए गए लिंक पर अपनी रचनाएं अथवा किसी अन्य रचनाकार के गीत और कविताएं भेज सकते हैं। भारतीय भाषा कविता प्रतियोगिता के नियम आदि भी आपको इसी लिंक पर उपलब्ध होंगे।
We wish you luck for the competition, and also we would like to inform you that textbooks for grade 4 and 7 are now available on Amazon, Flipkart and NCERT website. So please grab your copies now. And now let's take a look at the schedule, what's all coming ahead. In a short while from now, you can watch our session Sahyog, where we will be talking about Indian lifestyle and sustainable living, and that will be followed by our session on school leadership development by NCSL NIPA. All these programs have been live streamed, and you can watch them on our YouTube handle NCERT official. We request you to kindly participate in the sessions with your questions, suggestions and feedback. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you. Namaskar.